Hi, today I'm going to be making a recipe I found online for mushroom toast cups. Basically it's just like a creamy mushroom and cheese mixture on top of baked slices of bread. Sounds really good, sounds really easy. Make it with me. First things first, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Next we need to slice 18 pieces of French white bread. And ignore that first piece. Try not to go too thick or too thin. I would say about that's a good thickness. And I'm going to do 18 of them. Now it says to use a cookie cutter to cut rounds out of the bread, you know, get rid of the crust and just have like a circular piece. I really don't have any cookie cutters in the right shape, so I'm just going to cut the crust off mine manually. And then go from there. We're going to be baking these in a mini muffin pan, so you do need a mini muffin pan. If not, I'm sure you could just roast them on a baking sheet or something. Now that we've got our rounds prepared, it says to press them into mini muffin pans. The recipe makes 20 servings, but I only have 12 of the minis, so I'm doing 6 bigger ones. Okay, looks decent. It says to bake them in your oven, your preheated oven, for 8 to 9 minutes or until golden brown. It says they do cook quick though, or they bake quick, so keep an eye on them. Okay, let's open our oven. Put them in. 8 to 9 minutes or until golden brown. A good tip to washing mushrooms is don't just rinse them under water because mushrooms soak up a lot of that water. They said instead just have like a wet paper towel or something and just lightly run it over them when you're ready to use them. This way they don't soak up too much moisture. Okay, we need to finally dice these mushrooms. The few times I've worked with mushrooms, I always like to cut them in half. And that gives you a flat surface to work with for dicing. They're really easy to cut, so even with my crappy knives. It said finely diced, so you don't have to really worry about, you know, keeping that perfect shape. They're just going to be tiny at the end. Right, I can smell my bread, so it's ready to take out. See how that's a nice golden brown? A few of them may be a little too done. There you go. Now we're going to need about a half a cup of finely diced onion, which is probably somewhere around half an onion. And like any recipe, you know, change it up to whatever suits you best. Definitely make sure you peel the outer skin off. Normally you'd kind of want to follow the lines, like if you were slicing them, but in this case, just because we're dicing it, you can be sloppy. You're going to need to get a medium skillet, put it over medium heat, and add 2 whole tablespoons of butter to it. Let this melt, and then we're going to add our mushrooms and onions to it and let those cook for about 8 minutes. Alright, now Now that our 2 tablespoons of butter have mostly melted down, we can add our diced mushrooms. I could have diced mine a little bit more. You can see a couple big chunks, but I'm not that picky. And some diced onions. Now basically just stir these a little and let them cook for 8 minutes. You're going to see juices come out of both of them and the onions will get clear. While the mushrooms and onions are baking, we can prepare the next part of this recipe. You only need 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley, so that's really not that much. There, that's probably more than enough, but parsley's pretty affordable, so I always give it to you in these huge bundles. So yeah, basically just try not to get a lot of the stems in there if you can, but it's really not a big deal. Okay, there's that. Now we need a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Just like any other ingredient, you can do a little more, a little less, depending on, your personal preferences. In my case, I'm definitely going to put a little more. And then just use the grating side, or a grater. There's also handheld ones where you just can kind of hold it in one hand that work decently. Now that this has been cooking for 8 minutes, we can add 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and a tablespoon of lemon juice. Now we can add half a teaspoon of salt, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground black pepper. And stir those in. Smelling really good. Now we need to stir in our 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley. And now it says to gradually stir in half a cup or 4 ounces of half and half. Oops. Be careful with it, I'm spilling a little here. Alright, now here's our tablespoon of flour to thicken it up. Gradually sprinkle it, stir it in. The flour and milk part of it kind of reminds me of a roux, which is like for a sauce. Okay, yeah, you can see that's definitely starting to thicken up. I'm going to add a little bit more than my tablespoon, just so it thickens a little more. There we go. That's really starting to thicken up now. Now what we need to do is take our mushroom mixture. We'll first take all your little pieces of bread, put them on a lightly greased baking sheet. And then take your mushroom mixture and lightly spoon it into them. Oops. Try not to knock them over. Okay, I filled these as best I can. If you spill any, clean it up. It's gonna smell a little while it's baking. This is as clean as I get. I'm just a very sloppy chef. But it tastes good regardless. And then just sprinkle your Parmesan on them. Okay, very carefully. Let's get this sheet of goodness into our oven. And bake for 10 to 12 minutes. My oven's a little hot, so I'll probably just do 8. Alright, it's only been 5 minutes. It said do 10 to 12, but my mixture was already warm enough and my bread was already hot enough, so I really don't want to risk burning anything too much. So here it is. Yeah, like I said, try to clean around them as best you can or it's going to burn on your pan. But the main part looks great. And now the best part of any dish, trying it. Oh, good. The mushroom mixture is really good. It's got a little bit of that spicy kick to it from the cayenne, but it's not like overwhelming. The bread's good, a little too toasty in my opinion, but it's still a great appetizer to have. Try this at home and love it.